How's it going, rednecks? I'm out in the garage working on the Escalade again, and in my last video I replaced these speakers, and that's because I thought they were causing an issue. If you watched my last video, these are the speakers in question. As you can see, they're in rough shape. If you look on the back, they're all rusting. So after replacing the junk speakers and placing my new ones in the back, I still didn't have sound. So I went to the amplifier and radio up front. If it isn't obvious, I've already been trying to chase down my rear speaker problem. This is the factory amp that's underneath the dash. This is the one out of a green Tahoe that I'm turning into a long travel. And this one I got from the junkyard. And I tried all three of them, still didn't have a working rear speakers. And I replaced the radio. Still no rear working speakers. So with the fader in the middle, I have both working front speakers and tweeters. I have nothing from my right rear speaker, as well as the left rear speaker. And all the way in the back on the D pillar, I have no working tweeter there, no working tweeter there, but the factory subwoofer under there is working. So after all of my figuring out, tearing that thing out, replacing it a bunch of times, changing the stereo out, I went online and I started asking the GMT800 forum on Facebook. And I tell you what, there were three types of people there. There were people that were useless and absolutely didn't help at all. There were people that were trying to help, had kind of the same issue and were trying to figure things out. And then there were the people that had the answer. They knew exactly what my problem was. And my problem was this thing right here. So for those of you wondering what this is the rear radio controls that go in the back of the center console and allows the back passengers to, I guess, pick their own radio station and use headphones. Having never seen anybody use one of these and not having ever used one myself, I am going to fall under three options for this thing. For most people, option number one is going to be the choice option. You're going to pop out your old unit, take your new unit from the junkyard or wherever you got it from, pop it in place, and you'll be good to go. Option number two would be if you're doing a center console like swap or something, you could just take this unit, plug it in, throw it underneath the dash, throw it underneath the seat or something, and it will work for you. And now the reason why it's not going to work for me and why I'm going to show you option three. So in my hand right here is the plug-in that goes down under the dash and then up to your factory radio. And what would normally connect to this is this connector right here. And from that connector, it would go up to here. Ignore my little jumper wires, but that connector would go into your rear radio. And if you look, the rear radio connector on my Denali/Escalade is different. And that's because for some weird reason it has this plug-in on it. Not only is this plug-in for the radio different, but the plug-in coming out of the radio going to the rear radio is also different. So I cannot plug this Denali center console into this Yukon dash. So my option is going to be to put jumper wires in, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug this in to the Yukon one that I happen to save, and then I'm going to have to put jumper wires. Now I'm going to go over this right here in a second. The kind of nice option about option three is this. You don't need to worry about the rear controls ever going bad again. You don't need to try and worry about finding a spot to tuck this thing if you're replacing your center console. And honestly, I don't think anybody uses these things, so I'm not going to worry about it, and I'm going to put this jumper wire in. And what I found is a schematic, so I'm going to bring you in over here. We're going to look at what I got going on here, and I'm going to overlay a schematic up into the corner over here, and that schematic I found online. I can't remember where I found it, but what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to cut this plug-in off, and I'm going to jumper those wires. But with those jumped right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug this back in, and I'm going to show you that works for the rear speakers. As you can see, I got the fader to the front. I'm going to flip that to the rear, and there is no more static. Now, without touching this or touching anything else, I got one hand on the camera. I'm going to plug this in, and there we go. We have static coming out of the rears. There we go. We got static out of the left rear, got static out of the right rear, we got static out of the right rear D pillar, as well as the left rear D pillar. With the factual knowledge and knowing that this connector being jumped like this works, I'm going to take this thing inside, lob that connection off, solder the connectors together, and I will be right back. And just like that, I'm back with my plug, and it's all soldered together, and I'm going to show you what I did. So here are your two ends. This is the truck end, and this is the radio, or the rear radio end. And as you can see, I cut it off. Now if you want to pause the video here and take a look and write some of this down for yourself, that's up to you. But this right here connector, this is your B side, and this is your A side. And they are numbered or labeled 1 through 8, so 1 being on the left, 8 being on the right. And you can kind of see that on the little blue connector there, all the numbers or whatever. And those correspond with this right here. So technically your B1 is going to go to A1, and that would be if you were going to jumper the wires here. Well, I wanted to do it here, and if you look on this connector, they're labeled A all the way through H on this side. Then they jump around a little bit, but you can see it goes JK. And then there at the end you got some more letters. And what that is I ended up taking, instead of going B1 to A1 on the green connector, I went K to D on the black connector, which gave me a lot shorter of a wire and a better output. So this is what the ends look like. I did clear heat shrink tubing on it to show you. I'm going to tape this thing all up now. Then I just kind of cut the other wire shorter. They shouldn't be an issue, but I'll cap those off as well. So there's your lines right there, and obviously these are your jumpers. So you're going to go C to M, D to K, E to L, and then G to N. So there we go. Let's get this guy plugged in. So I currently have the volume on with the fade going all the way to the back. And when I plug this guy in, I should get static. There we go. Here's the connector all plugged in. And I did stagger cut all them short wires, so there's less chance of them all touching, plus I taped them all up. I'm just going to take and I'm going to stuff that under the center console and then put the radio back in. So as you can see, that guy's all plugged back in and we're good to go. There we go. Got the plug in under there. There was tons of room for it. Now I'm going to go to the other side, put that amp away, and we can finish this project up. I'm actually going to end the video right here because that is going to be a pain in the butt to videotape. But all you're going to need is a 7mm ratchet wrench, and you can get those out pretty easy. By pretty easy, I say it's kind of a pain in the butt, but this tool definitely makes it easier. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and get back to work. Alright, here's a little trick for you loyal subscribers here at the end. We're going to flip these around to make it easier to install. So what you're going to do is you're going to pinch these guys together, put your finger underneath because sometimes they'll shoot out. So they are sprung steel. Kind of push it through. There she goes. Got one. And this is what they look like right here. We'll pinch this guy together. Kind of work it through. There we go. We're just going to turn it around. Click it into place. Take our one that we removed from before. Click it into place. I'm going to show you why that's important. So that's the end result right there. And before, you used to have to try and screw these screws this way. If you flip them clips around, you can screw them right through here. You're still going to need this guy to get on there because it's still a pretty tight fit. Also, make sure you have your plugins on before, because when you flip this bracket normally is in front of this brace. So when you flip it around, puts that connector back behind the heater box where you can't disconnect it once you have it installed. So that's the only downside of doing this. But I don't imagine I'm ever going to have that off. And getting these screws on in this position is way easier. So, and for being a loyal subscriber, you not only get tips and tricks, you get to see bolts tricks. So how about we start with lay? You lay. Good boy. Sit. Good boy. All right, sit. High five. Yeah. Oh, and we got one more. Sit. You shake. Yeah, good boy. There you go. Tips and tricks. Good boy.